All right, my next guest at this time.
Hello.
Hey, Ashley, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good, good. Thank you so much for being on the show this evening. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Okay. Great.
So, first things
Great.
first. Congratulations on the new song "Pressure" that just came out
Yes.
recently. Is available on all digital music platforms, and we'll
Yes,
get
it is.
we'll get to that song in particular in a matter of moments. But first
Okay.
first things first. How did you get starting into music?
Um, Music has always been in me. I used to record songs on the radio with a tape player and, remix them and write to them. So I've always been doing music. Even before I could talk, I was always singing and making up songs. But, after college, I kind of got serious about it and started having access to studios. And then from then on, it's just been a career for me.
So, were there any artists in particular that inspired you, that influenced you to get into music per se?
I'll be honest with you, I was absolutely in awe of Michael Jackson. Like, to this day, he is like my number one, like, pass out when he comes on the TV screen. I wish I would have had a chance to see him live in concert. Um, but Michael Jackson is like the epitome of an artist for me and my inspiration.
Oh, the the king of pop, indeed. Who doesn't
The
like?
king of pop.
Yeah, who doesn't like Michael Jackson? Well,
Crazy people.
yeah, yeah. We'll forgive them. We'll forgive them, I guess. I mean,
We'll give him a pass.
we'll let it slide, I guess. But
Yeah.
that Michael Jackson is Michael Jackson. His whole catalog speaks for itself.
Yes.
The Thriller, Off the Wall, Dangerous,
Everything.
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 Even the last album he put out, Invisible. Like I vibe to
Even
that
the
too.
last album, exactly.
Yeah.
My son, I have a son, he's 11 years old. He wasn't even alive to witness Michael Jackson's greatness, but he's still a Michael Jackson fan. It's like he just, transcends time, and it's just a great.
I mean, a guy of his caliber, he set the bar way too high. So the
Absolutely.
thought that anyone in this current generation will be labeled as the king of pop, I guess to us hardcore MJ fans would be absurd. They can try,
Right.
but it's hard to duplicate what he did. It's that
I,
difficult.
I absolutely agree.
So so I think I've heard of you through the North Carolina scene. There are some artists that I've interviewed from that area. I've interviewed
hmm
Venomous. I've interviewed China Vaughn. I've interviewed a couple other
hmm
artists. North Carolina.
Familiar with both of them. Those are my girls. Yeah.
So shout out to Venomous and China. I got love for them both. Um, no,
Absolutely.
North Carolina in particular has been popping for the last several
Yeah.
years now, from J Cole to Rhapsody to the Baby.
Yeah.
Um, it's popping. It feels like it's become the next Atlanta, the next Houston, as far as
Com-
artists. That's
Completely agree.
so
There's
you.
a lot of untapped, there's a lot of talent in North Carolina, and I say it's untapped because the light isn't shined on us like a lot of the other more prominent cities, but North Carolina is like a breeding ground. Like, I think we're cutting edge. I think a lot of people, I think we're slept on. I go different places, and they're not doing the things that we're doing on a regular. So there's definitely lots of untapped talent in North Carolina. Definitely some gems here.
Probably the first North Carolina artist that I've heard that blew up. I think to a lot of people is Petey Pablo. When that song
Yeah,
when that song came out with Ways Up, I mean, he said that's too North Carolina were proud, man. It just
yeah,
yeah, and
yeah.
and I And I've seen Petey Pablo perform twice here in Kentucky now. Always,
Yeah,
he always brings the energy. Always brings the
he does.
energy. So we can't talk about the today's artists without talking about those that paved the way. Because he was the first
Right.
that I know of.
He, yeah, and for him to, come out with a song that actually represented North Carolina, where he's actually screaming the name North Carolina raised up, that just brought that energy where North Carolina had no other choice but to raise up. So I think, him doing that created a major platform for people to pay attention to North Carolina and what's going on here.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and talk about your song "Pressure." Um,
Yeah.
I've heard it several times now, and I even played it on this show a little bit earlier.
Nice, nice.
And I really like this song.
Thank you.
So talk about recording that song and what's it all about.
Yeah, so you're all the way in Kentucky, and you on the pressure train, right?
Pretty much. Yeah, guilty as charged, I guess.
That's what's up. So I've been on the scene in North Carolina here for a little while, and I end up taking a little bit of a break due to some life circumstances. Well, in my case, some death circumstances. My dad passed away a couple years ago, so I took a little bit of a break from the music, not intentionally, but just to, get my mind right and refocus. But, the music is always there, and it's always been tugging at me like, you gotta do the therapy that you need for you. So I started back recording, and I linked up with Robots. They're out of North Carolina as well. They're a production company as well as The Background, which is their writing company. And we started recording for my new album, and actually the very first track that we recorded was Pressure, and we decided that was going to be the driving force of my new album. So there's many other tracks on the way to make the compilation Pressure 2020, which I'm plugging, but the title track off the album is Pressure, which is the one that you have heard and the one that's like dropped right now, that's making noise right now. So Pressure is the one.
So go, and while you hear that, make sure you go stream the song "Pressure." Available on all digital music platforms: Apple Music, Google,
Yes.
Spotify, whichever is your preference. I'm a Spotify holic, so that's what I'm gonna go to stream it. And once you get through streaming it, you tell your friends about it. You tell your loved ones about it. You let them know.
Absolutely.
And this is what's become my new saying when I promote people's music and stuff. Don't keep the good music to yourself. Spread it around. Spread it out.
Yeah.
Sharing.
Yeah, you know what? You make a good point, because I'll find, some underground talent, some beautiful music, and I want to keep it all to myself because I'm like, oh, nobody's onto this. Like, I want to keep this to myself. But spread the word. Like, don't be selfish with it. I understand. I understand your urge to keep it to yourself, but, spread the word. And I want to also reiterate that, with the Pressure 2020, what we're going to do is we're going to be looking out every 20th of every month. We're going to be dropping something new, whether it be a new visual or a new song off the album. So every 20th, just stay tuned for something new from Ashley Marshall. Right now, we dropped Pressure on February 20th. On March 20th, we're going to be dropping the video, which we shot in Las Vegas. So it's going to be so dope.
Ooh, Las
Yeah.
Vegas. Okay. All right. Well, Sin City.
Yeah.
Sin City. That look like that's gonna be a great video. Just the location.
Oh,
alone.
it's going to be crazy. It's my first time in Sin City, so, we went a little overboard, but it's going to be so dope.
So as the cliche goes, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Stays in Vegas.
But Ashley, she ain't selfish. She gonna
Nah.
give you the visual for
I
Pressure.
am. I'm going to give you the visual.
So it's sharing is caring, pretty much. I
That's
definitely looking
right.
forward
That's
to it.
right.
So you consider yourself an R&B artist, correct?
I do, but I'm so versatile. I kind of dibble and dabble. I rap some, so R&B is a loose label, put it like that. I'm not one for labels, but if I had to categorize myself, it would be R&B, but if you listen to my music, you'll hear a lot of hip hop and rap and other elements combined in there.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I respect that. Um, you know, I feel like there's more artists that's doing more than one thing, and
Yeah,
you can't even put artists in a box anymore. Like,
right,
you know,
right.
there's a lot of influences here and there. People feel like they could do more than one thing, and I say, hey, if you're good at it, go for it.
Yeah,
And whatever happens,
yeah.
happens. So, for you being like a local artist, how do you feel about the support you've been getting over the course of your career, which also includes the release of Pressure?
Wow, I was just reflecting on this with my mom. I feel like I had a great following, in the previous years when I released my first debut album, which was Sold, and it did so good. I made a lot of noise with it and was able to promote that album for like 3 years, and it was still, making noise. And then even with me having to take some time off, I feel like when I came back out, I just picked right back up where I left off, and people were ready and eager for me to drop something. So I feel like the support is crazy. So I really appreciate my fan base in North Carolina and beyond for making this transition so easy for me to come back into the game and just be like spot on, if not elevated from where I left off. So it's just been amazing. It's been amazing.
That is awesome. And just shout out to all the North Carolina artists that's out there doing it. Those that I've already know, those that I have not know, but hoping to get to know. Cause North Carolina, like I said earlier, it's got a lot of good going, and I think it's gonna only get better from moving forward for sure. Um, before
Yeah.
before I let you go, Ashley, why don't you go ahead and
Yeah.
promote your social media links? Where can people go and check you out? Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, etc.
Yeah, everything is the same. Everything is at Ashley Marshall, not to be confused with Ashley Michelle. So it's Marshall, ASHLEYMARSHELL, on all social media platforms. So make sure you follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And I appreciate you for giving me the time to talk about what I got going on. I really appreciate you all the way out in Kentucky.
Appreciate you. Pressure is available on all digital music platforms right now, as of 2 days ago. So go.
As of 2 days ago.
So no pun intended. Once you get through listening to it, you give your loved ones the pressure of listening to that
Yeah.
song. Apply that pressure in 2020. Keep that same energy going. Uh, continued success to you, Ashley. Thanks again for your time.
Thank you so much. Been so good talking to you.